Installing Network Simulator 3. This probably is the most important tutorial of all the tutorials within this series. You see, this entire series is geared to helping you, the student, develop a level of proficiency and confidence using this wonderful simulation tool. And of course, the best way to learn any software tool is to actually use it. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started installing Network Simulator 3. So before we continue with NS3, I would have to assume then that you would have actually completed the previous tutorial, and that tutorial involved installing CentOS 6.4 on a Windows operating system using Oracle VirtualBox. So if you have not done that yet, I would like you to pause this video, go back and install CentOS 6.4, and as soon as you finish, you can come right back to this tutorial and we can actually get started installing NS3. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be right here waiting for you. If you're actually installing NS3 for the first time and you're not sure what you're actually doing, then it could be a nightmarish experience, to say the least. Now, I've actually gone through many installations. Most of them have been good, some have been bad. So what I've actually done is compile a few points that you would need to follow in order to make sure that your installation runs smoothly. Now, to install NS3, you would obviously need an internet connection, and of course, if you need to use a proxy to get out to the internet, then you're going to have to configure a few settings. Of course, if you don't, well, life is good and everything is a bit more simpler. You will also have to be able to update your Linux distribution, and then we will actually have to install some software dependencies that NS3 needs to be able to build and run properly. And then finally, we'll have to install the guest editions, which will allow us to pass files between our Linux distribution and the host system, well, which in my case is a Windows 7 operating system. So I'm going to go ahead now and configure my proxy settings. So I'm going to log in as root. Okay, I think that's the password. Yes. And the first thing I'm going to do actually is to set that proxy settings in the yum.conf file. So I'm going to go into computer, file system, and it's in the etc folder. And there it is, yum.conf. So I'm going to add a few lines to this file. The first one would be proxy equal to http://192.168.224.5, and the port is 8080. Then I'm going to add the username, proxy underscore username equal to, I think it's ing visitor. I hope that's correct. And the password is proxy underscore password equal to, I think it's test123. Okay, so let's proceed. And let me just right click here and add to panel. Where is it? There it is, show desktop. That makes my life a little easier trying to get back to the desktop. So now I want to go ahead into system preferences, and I'm going to go to network connections, double click on the network connection, and I'm going to select here connect automatically, and then I'm going to actually open up a web browser, and and I'm going to go into edit, preferences, advanced, into settings for the connection, and set up the proxy settings. 192.168.224.5.8080. Alright, so use this for all protocols. Click OK, click close. Oops. So if I did this correctly, right, let me see if I can get back to google.com. Okay, it's asking for the password again. And there you have it. So now we actually have connection to the internet. And with that done, we can actually continue now onto the second point, which is we are going to update our Linux distribution system. Let me advise you that this could actually take quite a while, but we'll actually see how it goes. So let's get started updating the Linux distribution. So I'm going back here to CentOS 6.4. So I'm just going to right click on the desktop and open in terminal. Let me maximize that. And to update the system, all I'll simply do is type yum update and I'll press enter. Alright, so it's looking for the mirrors to download the packages from. Now this process actually takes some time. So these are all the packages it's actually trying to get. Alright, and now it tells us here that it will upgrade 95 packages. It's a total of 211 megabytes. So we type Y for yes, and it will start downloading the packages. So it will go all the way up to 96, and then it will actually go ahead and install those packages. So this process here takes a while. What I will do, I'll actually pause the video at this point in time, and when it's almost finished, I will restart the recording. Okay, so I've restarted the video, and as you can see, it's at, well, it's about 96 now. It's almost finished downloading, and that took me about 10 minutes. That would vary on your machine depending on how fast it is. So it's doing the second to last one at the moment. So I'll just wait until it actually installs the final one. So just hold on a little bit. Okay, it's on the last one now. And there you have it. So it has installed, it has actually downloaded all the packages. And now we have to go ahead and actually finish the procedure. So we say yes. Okay, let me try capital Y. Apparently it's not accepting my common Y. So now let's actually go ahead and actually install those packages. So I'll update the system, and as you can see, that is actually 191 updates it has to do. So I guess you're figuring what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm going to pause the video, and just about when this stage is almost over, I'm going to come back and we could continue the installation process from there. So I hope everything is running smoothly for you so far, and I will be back with you in just a few minutes. So okay, I'm back, and it's on 191 of 191. It's doing some cleanup. Alright, so now it's actually going ahead to verify what it has done before, and as you can see, it's actually done. So we have been able to successfully update our system using yum update, and we installed 96 packages, and there were a few extra that were done actually, other dependencies that it would have pulled down at the same time, and we are actually complete. So let's go ahead now and continue with our installation. So if your installation is going as good as mine, then you should have been able to update your Linux distribution, and now you should be ready to follow along with me as I show you how to install the software packages that NS3 would actually need. And once we completed that, we'll do the installation of the guest editions. So these are just some of the, well, these are practically all of them that I know of, that you'll actually have to install if you're going to use NS3. And this list is actually available at the following website at the bottom. It's at the nsnam.org wiki under the installation tab, and you can see these are all the packages. For instance, you need the GCC compiler, C++ compiler, Python, and so on, and some other stuff that would be valuable, the Doxygen as well, and that gives us the documentation. And all these packages will be installed in a similar way that we did the update. We'll just use a command called yum, which you should be familiar with by now, and we're going to install all these packages. Now normally you can install each one of these by themselves, but what I actually do is that I've actually created a text file, and I've actually typed out all of those packages one after the other. So I've typed yum install, and then I've typed gcc, gcc-c++, Python, Python-devel, Mercurial, all the way down to the last one. So what it will do with this one command, it will install all of these for me. So let's go ahead and see if we could get that done. So this is on the desktop. This package is .txt file, and I'm at the desktop here at my prompt. Let's see if I try to run this text file. Let's see, packages .txt. I'm not sure if I need to give it permission to run. Yes, actually I do need to give it permission to run. So I'll type chmod 755, and it is packages.txt. So now I have permission to run this file. So what it's actually going to do is it's going to call this command inside here, yum install, and it's going to install all the packages that I have outlined in this text file. Right, so let me actually run it. Actually, I should have it here, right? And you can see it's a similar sort of scenario as before. It actually gets all the packages, and it tells us it's going to install 82 packages, a total of 121 megabytes total download, and it'll give you an install size of 367 megabytes. So I will put in yes. Let us get started. So you can see it has one of 82 packages, and of course you know what my next line would be, that this might take a little while. So I will pause, get a glass of water, something, and I'll come back when it's almost done. Okay, I've restarted the video, and we're just about getting ready to update. So it's now installing those packages. So it's downloaded them, and now it's going to install those 82 packages. Okay, my screen just died on me, but I'm still here. Alright, so this hopefully won't take too long. It usually takes a short period of time to install the 82 packages. Again, it may take longer on your system. I'm not sure what speed your machine is. This is a relatively fast laptop that I'm using, so hopefully we won't have to wait too long. This is just about, let's say, a little over a quarter of the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I guess I'll have to pause and come back. It probably would be another couple minutes. So I'll just pause the video and I'll come back in a little while. Okay, so it's almost done. It's now on, that's 81 of 82, 82 of 82. So it should be just about finished installing the packages. So it's verifying all of them. And there you have it, folks. We have successfully installed all the software dependencies that are needed by NS3. So now that we have finished installing our software dependencies for NS3, there are still a few more packages that we need to install for the guest editions. So going back to CentOS 6.4, I've created a small file, a text file, and I have actually written here the packages that we need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this line of code this time, and I'm going back to the desktop. I'm going to create a terminal, and I'm going to press Ctrl Shift V to paste. And let me just blow this up a little bit, and I'm going to press enter to install those packages. Some of them we would probably have already, and this shouldn't take too long. Okay, it tells us here that the DKMS package is unavailable, so I'm going to see where I can actually get that from. But I'm going to install what we have so far. It's only 23 megabytes, so it should not take too long, hopefully. Alright, so it's installing the kernel-devel, and that should almost be done. It's just one package, and you can see at the top here it says that most of the other things we already have the latest version of. Okay, so we are finished there. Before I actually go on, I would like to see if I can actually get this package that I didn't get before. The DKMS said it was well, no such package is available. So let's see if we can actually look for it via the internet. So I'm going to click to open up Firefox. I'm going to go to Google. Okay, thought I went to Google, but anyway, I like Google. Prefer Google. So let's look for DKMS. I think I had searched for this at some point in time before, so it should remember where I went. Let's see, download, and it was for CentOS. Okay, so this is the one I want for CentOS 6, and I'm going to try to get this one from RepoForge. That is the 2.1.1.2-1 ELF RF. Okay, it's down to the bottom here. So if I click on the link here, and then I need to click on binary package, I'm going to save it. Okay, got it already. So let me right click on open containing folder, and there it is. So we now have the actual package, Let me just go back and see exactly how you install it. Where is the back button? Let's go back a little bit. Alright, so we've downloaded the package. Okay, now we have to actually go ahead and install it. I'm gonna try a shortcut actually. So let me get back to the downloads folder. I'm going to right click and open with Archive Manager. No, that's not what I want to do. I think it's the first one. Right, package installer. Alright, so I'm going to continue anyway. I'm going to click install and hopefully it goes as planned. And yes, so it has installed DKMS first. I can close this off. I will close off the internet. Let me see if I can clean up this desktop a bit. I don't need that anymore. And I could probably close these off as well. Let's just close them off for now. Alright, so we have so far been able to install the additional packages for the guest editions, and now we're going to actually go ahead and install the guest editions on our distribution of Linux. Okay, so let's install the guest editions. And to do that, I will actually need to get out of scale mode, because right now I'm in scale mode. And the reason why I need to get out of scale mode, because I need access to a menu bar that is actually hidden here. I can't see it right now. So what I'll do to get out of scale mode, you hold on the right control button and you press C, and that takes you out of scale mode, and you can say I have access to the menu bar. And what I want really is to click on devices and click on install guest editions. Now there's another way you could do it. If I go back into scale mode, which will be actually done by clicking the right control and C again. So I'm back in scale mode. I can also get that same menu options right in here by holding down the right control, but this time pressing the home button, and you can see that little pop-up appears there, and we have access to the very same things that we had before. So I'll click on the install guest editions and let's see what happens. Okay, so it tells us that we need to run the guest editions. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click run, and it's actually beginning to start the installation. So it's removing whatever was there before. Let's hope and keep our fingers crossed that all the modules build properly. Sometimes it fails, so let's hope we get it right. If we don't, we'll just fix it. No worries. Alright, so it's building the guest editions kernel modules. So hopefully the packages that we downloaded a while ago were the correct ones, and we should be able to get through this stage hopefully alive. Alright, so let's see. It's taking a little while, so let's be a little bit patient. Yeah, I guess some background music would have been nice right now, to cut the silence a little bit. I'm sure you heard me talk long enough. So let's see, kind of really taking a little bit longer than usual. So I hope it actually works. Once we get through this part, we'll pretty much be home free in terms of the pre-installation steps. And as you realize, this is a really long process. It takes a while to get everything installed and ready for the major event. Alright, so that is actually looking quite good. Everything installed properly. All the drivers were installed. So it says that we need to press enter. Do we have to restart? Yes, it says you may need to restart the HAL service and the Windows system to enable the guest editions. Alright, so what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to press enter here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all restart um, my Linux operating system here, and then I'm going to come back and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I may have to restart the host machine and then restart everything. So I suggest you go ahead and do the same while I do that, and when I'm finished we'll come back and continue from where we left off. So I'm back and I have restarted my virtual machine, and what I'm going to do now is show you how to create a shared folder so that you can pass files between your virtual machine and your host operating system. So I'm going to minimize the virtual machine now, and what I'm going to do is create a folder on my desktop. I'm going to call it shared, and let's just open it for a second here, and I'm going to simply create a new text document. Let's call it CentOS 6.4.txt. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my virtual machine, and what I want to do is just simply shut it down for now. So it's shutting down in a moment. Alright, and I'm going to go over to Oracle VirtualBox Manager, and this is the virtual machine that we were using, Network Simulator 3, and I'm going to click on the shared folders tab across here on the right hand side, and what we're going to do is actually add the shared folder that we just created. Usually it's best to shut down the virtual machine so that when it starts up, hopefully it would see the shared folder that we created. So in the meantime, I'll go ahead here and click on the Add Shared Folders tab. I'm going to search for my shared folder. So it's on the desktop, it's called Shared. I'm going to click on it, click OK, and I'm going to click Auto Mount, and I'm going to click OK, and there you can see now that this virtual machine has 3 shared folders associated with it. So I'm going to click OK, and now I'm going to try to restart this virtual machine. So I can simply click Start up here, and hopefully it starts. Well, I have restarted my virtual machine, and hopefully you were successful doing so as well. If you're having problems, just simply restart it a couple of times. You know, as with any new software, you usually would have 1 or 2 bugs, and CentOS is fairly new. The 6.4 version is fairly new. So once you have been able to successfully restart, I'm now going to show you how to actually get access to that shared folder. So you need to navigate the file system. So I'm going to click on Computer, File System, and it's the media folder that I am interested in. You can see that I have 3 shared folders here. One is called Documents, one is called NS3_workshop, and the third one is called Shared, which is the one that we created. So if I double click on it, you can see that file called CentOS 6.4.txt that we created when we set up the folder in the Windows environment, and I can click on it and copy it, and I can paste it on the desktop, so it's available within the Linux virtual machine. And I can also do the opposite. I can take a file from within here, I can copy it, and I can go back to the shared folder, I can paste it, And if I minimize my machine, so I'm now looking at the Windows desktop, and if I go back to the shared folder, you can see that that packages.txt file is available. I can copy it, and of course I can paste it here within my Windows environment, and now I have access to it. So it's as simple as that, folks. We can simply set a shared folder, which allows us to pass files back and forth between our Windows operating system, or our host operating system, and the guest operating system, which in our case here is Linux. So it's as simple as that, folks. So this brings us to the end of part 1 of this video, and so far we have completed the pre-installation steps. We have configured our proxy server settings, updated our Linux distribution, installed the software dependencies that NS3 would need, and we have finally installed the guest editions. So in part 2 we will continue by downloading and installing Network Simulator 3.